So I came across the Sect of the Horn Gods YouTube channel in 2018 and became obsessed with watching the videos you put out, especially the ones on Carl Jung, because I wasn't familiar with him at all at the time. On your website, one of the first things you come across is a statement that says, "We understand that all religions and occult practices work, but not for the reason most think. For in truth, when one delves into the spiritual, what they are doing is establishing a better connection with their subconscious through the use of myth and metaphor." What would you say is the cause for our lack of connection with that part of our psyche that necessitates myth and ritual?
Actually, we lived a life connected to the subconscious. Let's call it a spiritual existence, up until roughly the Enlightenment. And now I'm not knocking the Enlightenment. It was a positive thing in a lot of ways. That would be the 18th century. And then into the 19th century, you had Darwin and Thomas Huxley and thinkers like that. And that conduit began to close up. And there was a separation between the objective mind and the subject. Give you an example. Isaac Newton, the father of Newtonian physics and the guy who came up with the theory of gravity and so on and so forth, was also an alchemist searching for the philosopher's stone. So you had this fusion of the rational and the mystical, if you will, the objective and the subjective mind. And this is the way we were as human beings since the beginning of time, up until roughly the 1800s. Mm-hmm. And when Nietzsche said God is dead, that's what he was basically talking about, was this foundation, this mystical or spiritual foundation that Western civilization had been built upon was beginning to crumble because of enlightened thought. And also not long after that, you had the beginnings of psychology. Before that, psychology didn't really exist because it was unnecessary, because that conduit was wide open, but then it began to close substantially. And what we're trying to do is reopen that and make people realize that, especially here in the Western world, we've really lost contact with that subjective mind. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to get people to see what mythology is and what it does. As you read it, you understand it. You might not understand it on an objective level, but subjectively, that deep down, the inner parts of the subconscious is able to make more sense of it than we can with our rational minds. Mm. And basically what we're trying to do is get people to realize that religion or spiritual practices are basically just that attempt to connect the two in a sense.